Welcome to Reaching World Podcast, where we highlight the world's largest network of influencers for good, love, and service. Join us in saying thank you to these incredible individuals and organizations by listening, subscribing, and sharing their legacies. And by doing this together, we will help inspire others to leave their legacy of service and love. I'm your host, Zach Garner. All right, we're super excited to have Akeem Shannon here on Reaching World Podcast today. He is the CEO and founder of a new upcoming product called FlipStik. Akeem, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our podcast listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said, my name is Akeem Shannon, founder of FlipStik. We make a product that goes on the back of your phone. It works as a kickstand for your phone, but what's really cool about it is with our trademark synthetic CT technology, it will allow you to stick or mount your phone to any flat surface. Whether that be when you're in the bathroom, you want to stick it to the mirror, take a selfie, you're in the car, you want to use GPS, or, you're on a train and you want to stick it to the roof and create an awesome video. It's been a very cool product to kind of take across the country and to get out to the world.
What a great idea. I mean, everybody uses their phone. Everybody wants to take a selfie. So tell us about how this idea came to fruition, because everybody that takes a shower, right, has a good idea. It's all about putting it into action and actually coming forth with their idea like you have. So tell us about that process of idea conception to product development.
Yeah, absolutely. So it all started with a 3 a.m. phone call from my uncle, who's actually an engineer at NASA. He was telling me about a project he was working on for the new space launch system. And it had to do with wiring and laying all the paneling flat. And so he kind of just goes into this reusable adhesive that NASA had used, back in the 90s and how he was considering using it for the project that he was working on. And, as I'm listening, I'm like, man, if I'd have just had this adhesive, I wouldn't have to spend 2 weeks mounting my TV up on the wall. I could have just stuck it up there.
Cool.
That was like my initial thought. And as I kept thinking about it over the next couple of days, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But, I could stick this to the back of a phone, and I just started doing more and more research on these gecko-based reusable adhesives. And so, I called my uncle back up. I kind of told him, hey, I think, we can make a product for the phone with this. And I made a prototype. It was made completely out of just cardstock paper, double-sided tape. And, the proof of concept was there. And over the next, few weeks, I began to flesh it out, understand how I was going to be able to make the product, how we were going to be able to create the material and formula. And from there, I looked up YouTube videos on, hey, how do you protect your idea? How do you write a patent? How do you write trademarks? Because I knew I didn't have the money, to go to a lawyer, spend $250,000 protecting an idea that I didn't even know if, was profitable or not.
Definitely,
and so from there, after, probably just a few months after the idea came to me, I was writing my first patent. So yeah, that's kind of the inception of the idea.
Good for you. That's awesome. So how long ago was that?
So that was in 2017. So that was the latter half of 2017. I had actually just quit my job. I worked for a very prominent financial tech company. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I didn't have the idea yet. I actually was planning on going into marketing and advertising. But it kind of, when you align yourself with the universe to say, hey, like, this is it,
Yep.
You get a 3 a.m. phone call. And don't get me wrong, my uncle always calls me at 3 a.m. That's like his favorite time to call. But this time I actually listened to what he was saying, and it led to something special.
That's awesome. So what's the long-term dream with FlipStik? Like, you have a product, you're selling it. Obviously, it's not where you want it to go right now. So what's the long-term dream that you're chasing with FlipStik?
Yeah, I mean, we want to be, the definitive brand for phone accessories. Right now we look at that space and it's occupied by one, giant elephant in the room, which is pop socket. They make a little knob that goes on your phone. And, with these types of products, they have, fairly short life cycles, usually no more than 10 years until something comes and replaces them. And we plan to be that replacement. We already see that people, will hand us, their pop socket, their ring, whatever they have on the back of their phone that's occupying that space, they want to replace it with a FlipStik. And so we want to be the leader in what is on the back of your phone other than a case.
Okay, cool. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, you've seen this the last couple of years, chasing this dream. You've had some obstacles that you've had to overcome. What keeps Akeem motivated every day to overcome these obstacles that you face?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's very challenging. And a big thing that you'll hear from almost any entrepreneur is fear, right? Like there's always the fear that, people won't want it, people won't buy it, you're going to lose your shirt, you're not going to be able to afford your rent. And it really just comes down to facing that fear and realizing that, you can overcome that just with your own effort and imagination. And so whenever I come across obstacles that are, frightening or scary, I always just try to stop, meditate, and ground myself and say, hey, like, if you put your mind to it, you can make it happen, because so many people have before from much more difficult circumstances. So that's kind of where I come from a lot of times. I'll tell you, when we actually launched our product on Kickstarter, and we had a successful Kickstarter, did over 500% of our goal. But nevertheless, once we shipped, I was terrified that I was like, what's next? Like, how do I sell more product? I can't run Kickstarter campaigns every month. So, what do I do next to sell my product? And I didn't have an answer to that. And, just by happenstance, I ran into these two twins that just so happened to live in my building for 2 years, but I had never spoken to them. And I ran into them on a college campus when trying to pitch, our product as a promotional item for the university. And, they told me, hey, we can, sell this for you. We want to work with you. We think we can be good at this. We kept talking, and, pretty soon after that, I said, hey, look, I'm going to be out of town for 3 days. I'm going to give you 30 flip sticks, see what you can do. And they sold all 30 in a day. They made $300, and they said, hey, that was easy. Let's do it again.
That's awesome.
We kind of just hit the ground running. We went to events. We went to, trade shows. We did everything that we could to sell our product until we realized, hey, we should open up a location. And then we opened up a kiosk in our local mall November of 2018. And that's when sales just completely soared through the roof. We were able to then, be in front of people. And our product is one where, you really need to see it to believe it. It's hard to tell someone, through the internet or over the phone, like, hey, you can just stick your phone to anything and it's going to work and it's going to hold. It's not going to fall. And then it's waterproof and you can wash it when it gets dirty. Like wow. It's a tough sale unless they put their phone on the wall, they touch it and they're like, oh my gosh, my phone is like stuck on here like glue. So it really just came down to like quieting my mind, meditating and saying, hey, like I need to know what this next step is. And when that next step presented itself, kind of just taking hold of that and then putting in the work to kind of see it blossom.
Yeah, totally. No, absolutely. I can 100% appreciate that. I can tell you're a hustler. And it's funny, when we first met in Las Vegas, the twins that you're talking about, they said, hey, this is Akeem. He can sell ice to an Eskimo. And ever since then, I've just been totally impressed with you and your hustle. And man, you've gone through the grind to get your product out there, and it comes with the true belief in your product. So obviously you believe in it so much and are passionate about it. You're willing to put in that effort. So tell us about, you've done trade shows, you've done all these different events. What's been a big highlight for you and your team and there at FlipStik?
Yeah, I would say, as you mentioned, we met in Las Vegas at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, one of the largest trade shows in the world. There's 150,000 people there. We were in Eureka Park, which was, I want to say, around 5,000 startup businesses were in one conference center. And our first couple days there, we found out there was going to be a pitch competition for Techstars, which, does incubation and that kind of stuff. And so we signed up. They agreed to let us, to participate. And I was like almost next to dead last getting the opportunity to go up. And so everyone's going up there pitching their products. And some of these guys they're geniuses. Like they've come up with ways to help, people who have hearing loss here. And there's just all these incredible products in a category that go up there. And so I get up there. It's me. One of the twins was with me and the other one's holding down our booth. And we got up there and, I sold it. And
no way. That's awesome.
At when you got these guys who have been on, Shark Tank, and you have like the buyers from Target who are all judging this competition, like big time people. And at the end, actually before they judged or anything, the announcer guy said, he's like, man, the only thing that can follow that up is a mic drop. And then somebody in the crowd, yeah, drop it. And so I dropped the mic because everyone was so impressed, I guess, with the performance I gave. And I think I actually broke that microphone. The announcer was like, "Oh no,
That's
don't do it!"
awesome.
And it was pretty funny. I said, "Hey, you can't call me. You can't tell me to do something and then take it back." But we ended up winning that competition.
Wow. That's
And
awesome.
it was super exciting. It really gave me this validation that, hey, like, not only do people like the product, but, as the twins say, I really can sell ice to an Eskimo. And so with the confidence that we got from winning the pitch competition at CES, we also auditioned for Shark Tank when we were there. They had an open call. We went to the audition and it was incredible. We had, just the most amazing experience, meeting all the entrepreneurs that were there and pitching to the casting team. So yeah, that's been one of the highlights of FlipStik for sure.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. And so Shark Tank went well for you as well, right? I mean, you're in a position where, there's some things coming down the pipe with that, right?
So yeah, I mean, we did our open call and it went very well. We were very nervous that we would not hear back from them, but we can't talk about what's coming up next. But I'll say we're very happy with what happened at
Nice.
after the open call.
Awesome. That's exciting. Good for you, man. Well, obviously, we entrepreneurs, they follow their dream, their vision, and their purpose to make some money, right? It's all about making that money in the beginning to provide for us and our families. But let's talk about Akeem Shannon's legacy. What does Akeem legacy look like, for your kids and grandkids? What's that legacy that you're trying to build currently and that you're keeping in perspective?
No, for sure. I mean, I said I worked at a financial tech company, and we worked with a ton of entrepreneurs. I worked hands-on with hundreds of entrepreneurs, and my father also is an entrepreneur. Had his own business for over 20 years, and so there's this freedom that comes with the ability to make your own money and to not be a slave to a schedule of someone else to help them, but where you're doing what you love, you're doing what you're passionate about, and you're supporting yourself and your family. And so giving that opportunity to as many people as possible, particularly people who look like me, as African American, Black male in this country, our entrepreneurship levels are very low. And therefore you also see income matches that, wealth matches that. And so showing people that you don't have to go get a fancy degree or have every opportunity in the world in order to create your own business. All you really need is your imagination and a little bit of hard work. And with just that little seed, you can do absolutely extraordinary things. Most of the things that I needed to start this business, I didn't learn in school, whether that be a patent, trademarks, international trade, tariffs, how to pitch to, investors.
Yeah.
None of that stuff came from, what I would consider to be a barrier of entry of, a higher education or anything like that. It was YouTube. It's the internet. Like,
Awesome.
yourself, what you need to know. And even like the financing to do our first run for production, like that came from Kickstarter. I didn't have someone that could loan me money. My parents weren't in a position to give me a loan. So, it just took, my own willpower and the support of everyone who liked, what I was talking about and liked, our product to kind of bring it to fruition.
That's awesome. I love that you're crushing it, man, and doing things that, unconventional, right? To the system of, go get a degree, work your way up the corporate ladder, and you're really like just destroying that whole mindset. And
Absolutely.
I love that. Good for you. Well, congratulations on all the success that you're having. That's awesome, man. So you're currently an entrepreneur and you've worked with entrepreneurs with that software that you worked with. What's a piece of advice that you would tell a struggling entrepreneur today? Maybe they're about to give up on their dream. What would that piece of advice you'd want to leave with them?
Yeah, I mean, so before I started FlipStik, there was at least 3 other businesses that I wanted to do, and I had my heart into them. Some of them I sunk, serious money into, and I gave up on them. It wasn't until I quit my job and said, hey, like, no matter what, I'm doing this, that it really came to be. we're so quick when we face that fear, we get that pit in our stomach where it's like, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work out? What if, what if, what if? And all those what ifs that we have are always negative. They're always these negative and they come from a place of fear. But the truth is that when you ask yourself those what if questions, you need to follow those up with, what if it succeeds? What if it's a multi-million-dollar business?
Yeah.
What if I can travel around the world and do whatever I want to do? What if I have this incredible family, these amazing friends, everyone supports me? What if everything goes great? And it doesn't mean that you won't have setbacks along the way, but your wins will far outpace your losses if you keep your mindset right. You can't focus on what makes you afraid and makes you want to give up and stop. You have to focus on what incredible possibilities will be on the other side of that fear that's stopping you from moving forward. And so when you break through that wall and you get to that next step, then you look back at the fact that, man, I was afraid that, for example, when we went to the mall, I was terrified. I was like, it's going to cost us so much in rent to be in the mall during the holidays, and we don't have the money. Like, if we spend this money on rent and we don't make it back, we're going to be broke. Like, we won't have any money left. But I had to break through that and say, hey, like, if people liked it on Kickstarter and people like it when we go to the events and everyone I talk to says they like it, like, yes, it's scary to pay thousands of dollars for rent and not know if you're going to make it back. But what if we make it back tenfold? And so it really, when I tell you I was terrified, like, I had to go to my parents, like, I was terrified. I was so scared to take that next big jump. But now that I've looked back on that, I was like, there's no reason for me to be that afraid. And I'm so glad I broke through it. Now it shows me that every time I come up to fear and I'm most afraid to take that next big step, it means that I'm actually doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. And I just got to power through it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so great. So powerful. I love that. It's so true, man. Sometimes we just got to be willing to go that extra step. I saw a meme the other day that was like, it said entrepreneurship, and it's like a guy digging for gold, and he dug like hundreds of feet, and then it's like 6 inches from the gold, and he turns around and he's walking away and 6 inches from the gold, man.
That is so true.
It really is, man. So, and like you said, sometimes it can be just a simple, not to belittle your product in any way, but you're not like curing cancer. You're not creating like a product to like help hearing loss. You're creating a simple product that everybody will love and everybody will use, and at an affordable price. I think some people just get caught up in the fear of like, oh, I haven't, created the next iPhone, so I can't do anything, right?
No, 100%. I mean, the most successful things are usually the simplest. It's the thing that you do without even knowing that you do. I'll give you an example. Like, all the time, I would take my phone and I would prop it up when I was in the shower to like watch a video or to listen to music or do whatever, right? And there's, you can buy a caddy, you can buy all this stuff to make that experience a little bit better, but everyone uses their phones everywhere. Now with FlipStik, I take my phone, I stick it on the wall in the shower, it doesn't get wet, and it just sits there, and I can watch a video, I can hear it, like I don't need a extra waterproof speaker or anything like that. It can just sit exactly where I want it to be. Doesn't have to get wet, and it just works. I can watch Netflix in the shower now. So, sometimes it's those simple things, those little annoyances, or just tweaking something so that it's slightly better for you that ends up being the most successful.
So true. So true. Hey, we appreciate your time today. And Akeem, as you grow your business and develop these teams and get your product everywhere, obviously you're going to continue to refine yourself and focus on personal development. Is there something that you do now that you would recommend other entrepreneurs? Is there a favorite habit or book or podcast that you read recently, or a podcast that you listen to help that personal development?
So, I'm always learning. I love, whether it be watching videos on YouTube, reading articles, whether it be about science or entrepreneurship, business, law. Like, I'm just a consumer of information. I love to consume a lot of things, but I think a lot of people do that. What I would say a lot of people don't do, and something that I've started to do, is meditation. When I tell you it changed my life, like the ability to be able to quiet your mind and then just face your own thoughts. You hear all your fears. You just face yourself. And a lot of times we don't do that because we're constantly like filling ourselves with noise, with music, some type of stimulation. And when you cut all that out and you really listen to your mind and ultimately your heart, you start to find answers that you would not normally think you could find. And a book that actually my boss gave me from the previous job I had at the financial tech company, he gave to me and he said, he's like, I was quitting. He said, if you quit this job and you don't go out and do something incredible, I'm going to be pissed at you. And the book that he gave me was The Alchemist. And I'm not sure if are you familiar?
Yes, I am.
So he gave me The Alchemist and I read it, and it honestly just changed my whole perspective on reality. It talks about meditation in a sense, but it also talks about the ability to notice signs and to recognize things that help you make decisions and to just help you to move forward in your life in a spiritual way, as well as chasing your dreams, following after your dreams, and finding what it is you need to find, and having a great journey along the way to all of that stuff. So if I could recommend a book, that would be the one that I recommend, would be The Alchemist.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to get that and listen to it or read it. I've heard of it. I haven't read it myself though.
Yeah, definitely a great read. Also a great audiobook. I'm very lazy. I love audiobooks. So
that's not lazy. That's effective while you're stuck in traffic or something.
Exactly.
That's time productivity, man. I love it.
Exactly. So yeah, the audiobook's excellent. Paulo Coelho, I believe I'm pronouncing his name right, is the author. And it's a international bestseller. You'll find it, pretty cheap, pretty much anywhere you look.
Yep. So
definitely a must read in my opinion.
Cool. Akeem, is there, if I'm listening to the podcast and I want to get my hands on FlipStik's product, is there the best platform to order it? And then do you have a promotion or special that you could offer this month going on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can get our product by visiting our website. It's GET FlipStik, drop the C and stick. So getflipstik.com, FlipStik. You can also check us out on Instagram, also Get FlipStik. And yeah, absolutely. So we have a really great promotion that we're going to offer. If you use the code RWP, which is the initials for Reaching World Podcast, RWP, we're going to go ahead and give you 25% off your order.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Our listeners will love that and appreciate that. Akeem, it's been an honor. Thank you for taking some time out of your day, your busy day, to build this brand and this company to be on our podcast today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
These episodes will be launched on Mondays and Thursdays. And if you'd like someone to be on the podcast, if you think there's someone in your network that should be recognized for the good they are doing in the world, please reach out to us and send us a direct message. We can be found at Reaching World Podcast on Facebook.com. So be sure to find us there, like our page, and submit any ideas or suggestions of individuals or organizations that should be highlighted on this podcast. Now, to finish today's episode, a couple additional ads from our sponsors.
Are you a business owner that would like to maximize your staff or sales team's production and overall performance? Go to buildyourtraining.com and see how business owners are empowering their teams by digitizing a cloud-based training platform. Again, go to buildyourtraining.com to help unleash your team's overall potential and performance.